But unless you guys have any more on that, we're gonna kick it over to a guy that we are hopeful that can be that middle of the rotation or middle of the lineup presence that this team has lacked for so long. Um, Starting in a couple years, I told everyone I had a little bit of a treat. I spent way too much time doing this, but for anybody that wants to enjoy the visual of Bryce Eldridge absolutely crushing baseballs while we're talking about him,
yeah,
here you go. And you'll get a little bit of reactions out of us while we're doing this. And one thing I want you guys to all, keep an eye on with this. Dan, you and I were talking kind of before the video start or before the show started about how like the typical lefty power is down and in.
Yeah.
And some you're going to notice with Bryce Eldridge, it doesn't matter if it's up, it doesn't matter if it's down, doesn't matter if it's inside, outside, breaking ball, fastball, left-hander, right-hander. As I said before the show, he does not discriminate. He just hits the crap out of the baseball. He doesn't care who's throwing it, how hard you're throwing it, where you're throwing it, what you're doing. He will take inside pitches and put them to left field. He'll take outside pitches and pull them over the fence in right field. He will hit line drives line to line. He'll hit the gaps. He'll hit the fence. He has 49, I think, extra base hits on the season. All 49 are in this video. I dare anybody to find one single cheap one in his highlight reel here. Everything is hard. I mean, this guy's just freaking awesome. I don't have enough good things to say about the guy. I've watched nearly every at bat this year, and he does not have a true hole in his swing. Now, it doesn't mean he's not going to get beat. Doesn't mean he's not going to get struck out. He is striking out about a quarter of the time, but this isn't a Brandon Belt situation where, throw the fastball up. He ain't going to catch up to it. He doesn't have that. At least not that I've seen. I mean, if you guys have seen anything different, please let me know. But
missile, bro.
I mean, it's just, yeah, dude, some of these balls he hits are just ridiculous.
Lefty on lefty. Kapler would have a stroke.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to sit out a few nights. We have a Darren Ruff waiting on the bench."
Kapler would break an apple with his roided out freaking arms, dude. You just squeeze an apple till it broke. Watching this.
Yeah. So some of these balls like that right there. That's why I've said this is why you cannot move him. There are not probably 5 guys lateral left-handed around the league that have the kind of opposite way power. There's probably 5. There's not 10 around the league that have the kind of opposite field power that you could just play in Oracle Park to be a very highly successful power hitter as a lefty in that park. And he is one of them. Juan Soto is one of them, who I swear to God, every time comes to this park, hits one out to left field. So this dude's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke on it earlier before we went live. And it's insane because a guy his size, 6'7", 230, you would expect him to only be like a low ball hitter. But, dude, he can get an up and in pitch and drive it the other way 420 feet. It's insane.
Yeah.
And he does a very good job staying balanced in his swing, stays on his back foot really well. And he just, more so than any other Giants prospect you'll see, he literally just takes the pitch where it is and dumps it off into left field easily. Ton of power, line to line. You very rarely see him get fooled and be off balance out on his front foot. And that's another reason why I don't really buy into some of the concerns that Giants fans have. I've seen people on X say, "Oh, well, he's just going to be flying out like crazy because he's just going to be hitting it out to that right center gap at Oracle." And I'm like, no, that's not the type of hitter he is at all. Mm-hmm. He will absolutely hit bombs to left field easily. Tons of power that way.
My thing is just don't, whatever you do not let Justin Veely get a hold of this guy. Just keep those two far, far away from each other. That's all I ask for.
Yeah. It's just nuts, man. I mean, this just people. This is what a hitter looks like. I know we've all been fooled and we forgot what it looks like watching the Giants offense the last 3 years. This is what it's supposed to look like from guys. Like, this guy's absurd. And he beats he'll beat pitches where he got beat by the pitch, if that makes sense. Like, they'll go inside on him and maybe he was a little late and he'll still put it out to left field. Because it's like, yeah, he probably got beat a little bit by that one. And he still gets the barrel to the ball though. And it's just kind of crazy. Yeah, I think this one might have hit a truck on that freeway back there. Just crazy. But yeah, I mean, so he's kind of wrapping up one of the, I want to say they've said it's like one of the best seasons by a minor league season by a teenager in the last 25 years or 20 years or something like that. Like, the season he's had, I mean, he had like a 180 WRC plus or something like that, something crazy in high A. I mean, he's getting better and better as he's climbing the ranks. Today he got intentionally walked in a AA game. I mean, it's just stupid, which I just hate the fact that they'll do that in minor leagues. It's like, it's the minors, guys. Come on. But yeah, he got intentionally walked in the 8th inning with the go-ahead run on third. And I think they were tied and there were the runners on second and third, and they intentionally walked him. And it was like a guy that's taking his 12th at bat of AA or something like that, and teams are already intentionally walking him. It's just nuts. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. Special kid.
One of the things I've noticed with these highlights is a lot of these fields, their outfield walls are super tall. And it's like, just imagine if they were like more shorter to standard size walls, how many more home runs you would have.
Yeah. Oh, here's our favorite.
Hitting cows out in center field.
Cow moo where this thing lands. The thing is just so bombed.
You look close enough, you can actually see Cody's house in the background.
Yeah. He almost hit that over the Cascades over to our house. Just absolutely nuts.
Jeez.
You know, that inside out approach.
Yeah, Frederick. I'm not saying it's the best, just up there. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say his inside out approach kind of reminds me a little bit of Posey. You know how he can just really keep his hands inside of everything. It's crazy, especially for a big long arm guy like him. And he obviously has a ton more power than Posey, but just kind of similar. And you don't see a lot of young kids have that in them, especially in the Giant system.
Yeah.
He stays inside the baseball better than probably any player I've seen since Posey, as far as in the Giant system. Just, you don't see him hook a lot of balls foul or anything like that. You don't see him. Like, he does a great job staying inside it, and it's just pretty awesome. So I think we're here we go. Frederick.
Getting pretty close to Richmond.
One prospect evaluator I read says there probably isn't an Aaron Judge in the minors, but if there is, it's probably him. Yeah, I think that's I'm not going to sit here and be like, I hope he becomes Aaron Judge. I mean, yeah, do I? Sure. But that's pretty lofty, but I think he can be a special player. And this was the double today. Absolutely on the nose. Right fielder had a chance, dove, but like I said, there's nothing cheap in this. Like, he's not out there blooping doubles down the line. He's not, hitting little short porch homers. He's not doing anything crazy, like, anything where you're watching going, yeah, this ain't going to translate. Like, he absolutely barrels the ball, and he hits it hard. He hits it hard consistently, and it doesn't always work out. We saw since he's been in AA, he's hit a couple balls really hard that just went right at people. I mean, that's baseball. Not everything's going to find a hole, but when you put the barrel on the ball consistently, good things happen. And for those of you that didn't see it, check it out. There is a interview that he did. It's 3 or 4 minutes long on MLB Network. Joined DeRosa, and I can't think of the lady's name. She's been on there for a while though. A couple of those guys though, or a couple of those people, and he talked openly about how he feels like if he just gets the ball in the air, good things are going to happen. Because, I mean, the thing that kind of stood out to me was he made a comment about how he's still learning what he's capable of. I mean, that's that's crazy to me. Like, he's not like an arrogant player that's just like, yeah, I'm better than everybody. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm really good at this. He just keeps like getting better and better and better. And he still could probably put 20 pounds of muscle on. You look at his frame. I mean, he's 220, which is not light, but he's 6'7". I mean, this is a guy that I do hope he doesn't like put too much on, because obviously that could bring some health concerns and things like that in, because he is a big person. And he is pretty athletic for his size. He's kind of like Belt, where he gets up to speed. He's got the long strides, but yeah, I think he's gonna be special. He's the best prospect I've seen from a position player group since probably Buster in this system.
So that's why I get on some of these, these guys on X with a little bit of following that are like, you can't trade, or you can't refuse to trade a guy like Bryce when you could get an established guy like Vladdy, because Bryce, you're hoping for Bryce to be Vladdy, and I'm like, who's to say he can't be better? It's like, I'm not always of that mindset where I'm never willing to trade prospects, but of all the guys to trade, this is not the one. Like, there's been times in the past where I was willing to trade Marco Luciano, but not this guy. You saw more of the struggles of Luciano and the growing pains as he came into the system at a young age. This kid is doing a lot of the things that Luciano wasn't even doing at that age. Like, Bryce hasn't had those big time struggles and growing pains. Like, Bryce is produced right off the bat. The second he hit San Jose last year, instant production. And this year we've seen these major power streaks come through. We've seen it probably 3 different times this season. So he's untouchable in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm 100% on board as far as the Vladdy thing, and I would love to have both of them. I mean, I've said even having Bryce, I wouldn't stop themselves from getting Vladdy. Like, to me, your goal should be that you have both of those guys in the middle order. I mean, I don't think it's that out there to say that if Bryce is as good as you hope, that your 3-4 hitters being Vladdy and Bryce would be the best that you've had since Bonds and Kent.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not saying that they're as good, because I mean, those are two guys that both should be in the Hall of Fame. Neither is, but both should. But yeah, I mean, I think it easily would be the best. And a lot of people will go, well, Posey and Pablo or whatever. And I'm just like, listen, guys, Posey, yes. The other guys, they were there out of necessity. Like, ideally, they'd have been 5 or 6 hitters for a lot of teams. And that's not to disrespect them. They were both really, really solid hitters, but they weren't like a prototypical 3-hitter or 4-hitter.
Yeah.
So just crazy.
All I know is I'm investing, man. I am investing in the cards, the jerseys, the signed baseballs, everything. I am all in on Bryce Eldridge.
I'm buying all the stock. I need him to be in Sacramento long enough to come play in Tacoma. I will be at Tacoma. I will absolutely shamelessly use my daughter for an autograph. Once again. Just look, Bryce, cute kid. Just kidding.
Word for Matos.
Yeah. Nah, I didn't even like actively try and get anyone. Matos just saw her and was like, oh, and stopped and like flipped back. It was super cool.
That's cool.
That was such a fun one. But
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, Grant says just trade the whole farm minus Bryce for Vladdy. Yeah. I mean, I'm dead serious when I say I would call the Blue Jays. I'd be like, he's off limits. Any other prospect, you can have him, including some of the guys on our current roster. Like,
yeah.
I love McRae. You could have him. I love Birdsong. You could have him. I love Harrison. You could have him. Like, there's guys up on the roster that I'm open. I'd say probably, they're not going to want like most of the vets, but like I would say probably. I mean, I know you guys aren't necessarily in agreement, but Bailey, like,
Oh yeah,
they just don't have any. They don't have anyone to catch. Like that's the problem. So you probably can't really move him. But like Ramos and Bryce, no. Everyone else could be had. So
especially Meckler. They can take Meckler. Please take Meckler. Please.
Like I will throw him in for nothing. Even if a deal's agreed upon, I'll be like, nah, I don't think that's enough. You need him too.
Exactly.
Frederick, I'm not saying like I want a Trey Birdsong. Trust me. I'm just saying that if that's what it took, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So.
And as opposed to Soler, the one good thing with both Bryce and Vladdy is they can actually help you out in other spots. Like Vladdy's really not bad at first and then at all. And then Bryce could absolutely play left field at Oracle, smaller field over there and left. He would have no problems. He's very athletic for his size. So you'd still have that flexibility with the lineup and, defensively, you wouldn't have any issues there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Vladdy have a Gold Glove?
I believe so. I think it was only a few years ago. I don't,
but yes.
Yeah, I personally don't think he's that type of defender, but he did win a Gold Glove not that long ago.
Yeah,
he's competent. Which
he's not
really all people hope for anymore.
Lamont Wade, who looks lost every time a ball gets thrown up the line.
If you only showed people the tape of today's game, they'd probably think Lamont Wade is like a 4-time Gold Glover.
He'll surprise me every now and then, but he's in my opinion at best average at first defensively.
To me, I feel like he's decidedly average. He typically makes the plays he should. He makes occasional plays that kind of make you raise your eyebrows, but he very rarely feels like he bails out guys. The only play I can remember all year where I was like, damn, he made a great play was that Chapman one in New York. Where I gave Wade insane props for that dig on that throw because it was not a good throw. Chapman beat the guy, but it wasn't great. But Wade made a hell of a play on his end too. So I make jokes about him, but I will always give credit where it's due.